Hey, Rob from Morty42 here, and today we're talking about the entertainment news of the week. And really, it's almost completely streaming news. Seriously, that's where the news is right now. And if you look at this comment over on an article on Deadline, it says, "I know it's the pandemic and all, but wow, studios and broadcast networks have never been less relevant." And yeah, that's just the way it is. If you just look at some of my past shows, there's a lot of streaming stuff. Netflix, HBO Max, Warner Brothers, all that stuff. It's just the way it is right now. So yeah, I think we'll go ahead and start digging into it. But first, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Of course, we've got all kinds of things going on. We got the news, we got reviews, we got interviews, we got all kinds of stuff. So sit back and relax, and let's get into it. So even though awards is not exactly something that I put a whole lot of stock in, but this just goes to show that streaming is where it's at right now. Streaming is where some of the best, the most, the widest range of people watching it. Streaming is where it's at. Netflix dominated the Golden Globes nominations with 42 film and TV nominations, and it's crazy to see. On the film side, we had Mank with 6 nominations and Trial of the Chicago 7 with 5 nominations. Both excellent movies. In fact, I'll put wherever the card is, I'll put my review of Mank right there. So if you want to check that out, and I gotta say, Mank is just a fantastic movie, especially if you're a fan of like old school filmmaking, old style, 30s filmmaking. It's got that look and feel. And of course, if you're a student of film, and David Fincher, yeah, it's a must watch. And Trial of the Chicago 7 was just absolutely excellent. Aaron Sorkin, the writing and directing is just great. It's great stuff. So check those out if you haven't. And then on the TV series side, we have The Crown with 6, which I haven't seen yet, and Ozark with 4 nominations, which is really impressive. Now, The Queen's Gambit came out with 2 nominations, one for Best Limited Series and one for Best Actress in a Limited Series. And that's also well worth checking out if you haven't seen it, because it's really good. And it's a strange thing, right? Because I remember one of the interviews that really sticks out in my head is probably almost 30 years ago now. Eddie Vedder was talking about winning, and I think it was a Grammy for best musical performance. And it was sort of like it's strange to accept this award because it's not like we played the same song, and it's the same thing with best actors or best actresses. It's not like they all play the same part and you get to judge each one separately. They're playing different parts, so it's a strange thing, but and it's all subjective anyway. But it is interesting to see this. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. Now we're gonna file this under I didn't even know. This apparently was news a year and a half ago, and I never heard about it. And it's maybe because Sandman was one of these comic series that I don't know if you've been around the channel, you know that I've been reading a bunch of these older classic comic series. It's something I've really enjoyed getting into, reading some of these classic stories in the comic world. And so yeah, I've read the first 2 or 3 graphic novels. I can't remember where I am in the series, but yeah, the idea that we've got a cast for the series for Netflix. This is crazy. And I remember, I guess it was like 7, 8, I don't know how long ago. It was a while ago though. Joseph Gordon-Levitt was in talks to play Dream, the main character of Sandman. And as I'm reading the graphic novel, I'm sitting there going, how is this going to be filmable? How is this going to be a thing? How could they even do it? So I'm really, really interested to see how this is going to play out. Now, if you look down here, we've got our cast, and we've got Tom Sturridge as Dream, and I'm not sure who that is. I'm not aware of any of his work. So, of course, interested there. Gwendolyn Christie is playing Lucifer. And what I liked about the character of Lucifer is, I believe, they changed genders throughout the series, which makes sense if you think about it. So it's kind of interesting to see how this is all going to play out. Is it going to be as faithful to the comic as I hope? And I'm not sure who some of these other actors are, but of course Charles Dance sticks out. I'm really interested to see how this is going to be. I mean, this looks like, just judging by the cast list and who the characters are, it looks like it's from that first graphic novel. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can pull it off. You know, just last week we were talking about how Netflix was bringing a Tomb Raider anime to their streaming service, and how that was going to be, and you know, is it going to be like the new design from the new games, or is it going to be sort of a classic thing? We don't know what it's going to be, but look at this. I mean, it's heating up on the movie side as well for Tomb Raider. So MGM has set Misha Green, the creator, director, I guess showrunner of Lovecraft Country over on HBO Max. She's going to be directing and writing the next Tomb Raider with Alicia Vikander. This is exciting. Now, I will say that the first Tomb Raider movie, not the Angelina Jolie, the first Alicia Vikander, wasn't a fan of the Angelina Jolie ones, to be honest, but the Alicia Vikander one, I feel like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And I was sort of pleased by the I guess the seriousness of it. It wasn't, you know, super weird and campy, kind of like the Angelina Jolie ones were. It took things a little more seriously. So I'm really interested to see how this one's going to play out. And I still haven't seen Lovecraft Country. I've heard a lot of great things about it, and it's on my watch list. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting thing to watch and see how it all plays out. A lot of times you hear these stories in Hollywood about this young hot director who comes out with a smaller movie, an indie film or whatever, and they're obviously talented. And what happens is they sign this deal to run this big budget sort of tentpole project, and a lot of times you never hear from that director again, because what happens is they get so beat into the ground from the studio saying, no, we've been doing this a long time, you just do it what you're told and all that stuff. I mean, David Fincher on Alien 3 is the best example of this. I mean, it almost changed his entire trajectory of his career, because he hated the experience of working with Fox on Alien 3. But then every now and then you get a pretty interesting story, a pretty cool story, and if you ask me. Ryan Coogler has signed a 5-year exclusive Disney television deal. And Ryan Coogler came out of the gate with Creed. Fantastic movie, by the way. Shouldn't have worked. It's when I heard the idea, I was like, oh, come on, really? This is not going to be any good. And it surprised me. Scene after scene after scene. It surprised me, and I ended up really being a really big fan of it. And then Black Panther comes out, and we thought, oh no, here we go again. But no, Black Panther was insanely good. It's in the top tier of Marvel movies of all time for me. I mean, I still think I might like Winter Soldier the best, but Black Panther's right up there. Probably in the top 3 or 4. I'd have to really sit and think about that. But anyway, this is exciting news because Ryan Coogler has done nothing but impress me so far. And to me, he's one of those directors that I'm really going to be keeping an eye on. And the idea that not only has he signed this deal, but now there's a Wakanda series in the works for Disney Plus. I'm so excited. I mean, if you're a fan of Black Panther, if you're a fan of Disney Plus, if you're a fan of Marvel, you have to be excited about this news. I can't wait to see where his career goes and what he brings us next. It's going to be so much fun. And we got some updates on the Justice League. That's right. The Snyder Cut is coming very, very soon to HBO Max. And the posters were released with the release dates on them. And I got to say, I'm a big fan of the way these look. I'm excited to see the movie, but now it's becoming more of a curiosity than anything because I just don't know. I don't know if it's going to be that good. Because the news came out that it's gone from 4-hour-long episodes to one single 240-minute film. That's right, a 4-hour movie. Yeah, And then the rating came out. And that's right. It's rated R. Of course it is, right? Of course it's going to be. This is the hardcore movie that comic book fans have been looking forward to all this time. Look, it's hard for me to judge the thing since I haven't seen it. And if we can listen to Zack Snyder and him talk about how a lot of that footage that was seen in the original movie was all shot by Joss Whedon, and that he's not using any of that Warner Brothers gave him $70 million to finish this movie the way he thought it should be. Look, it's I'm really curious what other people are thinking about this. And I'm not talking about the people that participated in the hashtag release the Snyder Cut. Yes, this is a really interesting thing. It's never been done before. But come on, 4 hours? A 4-hour movie. Could it be awesome? Could it be the start of something new? Don't know. I mean, Zack Snyder has already said that he's definitely moving on after this. So I don't think, even if this is just a blockbuster hit for HBO Max, I just can't see him doing more. And especially since they've already moved on Warner Brothers with the Batman, and Wonder Woman 84 has continued its trajectory. Who knows where they're going and what they're doing here, but yeah, on March 18th we can all find out together. And finally today, I just want to do sort of a public service announcement. Yeah, I think that's about the best way I could put it. So if you're looking for a new show to get into and to watch, to binge, and you have not checked out The Expanse, you totally should. You totally should give it a shot. It's a fantastic sci-fi show. And I have to say, I just finished the season finale of season 5 that just aired the other day, and I'm planning on doing sort of a season 5 review here shortly on the channel. But I have to say, this show is just fantastic. Every season they've ramped up the stakes, and every season feels sort of like its own thing. I'm just super impressed with it. I know it's one of those things where I think a few months ago I was kind of like, I tried it. I tried the first 4 episodes and it just didn't grab me. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to watch it. I'm going to try it again, because I read this article that said you really kind of have to wait till midway through season 1 before you decide to give up on it. Because I got to tell you, it was halfway through season 1, it hooked me. And I went, oh, now I see where they're going with this. This is awesome. I like this. I think one of the things that I really appreciate about it is that it doesn't wait for you. It doesn't hold your hand. It's really smart television, because what it'll do is it'll show you something and I'm like, did I miss something? What's going on? And then later on it's like, oh, that's what that was. I really like that style of filmmaking, of storytelling, because that's the way sometimes the world works. Sometimes you see something and you don't really get it. And then once you start to understand, everything becomes clear. It's a well-written show, well acted. All of the actors have been fantastic. I've been really, really enjoying it. And I don't think I know one of these people's names. And it doesn't matter. They're fantastic. They're great. They're so great. So I highly recommend you checking out The Expanse if you haven't already. So yeah, that about wraps up the show for today. So if you have any comments or questions about any of the topics that we had today, leave those down below and we will talk about it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.